Today's video is for the kids of all ages. Maybe you're younger now, or maybe you're a little bit older, and you remember when your parents took you to Walt Disney World and you had a magical time. Well, I have a secret for you. They loved going to Disney with you too. Once you get to a point where you can go to Walt Disney World by yourself, wouldn't it be nice to return the favor, and instead of them taking you, you can take them? That is an experience I had recently with my father at Walt Disney World, and we had a truly magical time. So today's video is all about taking your parent to Walt Disney World. One of the most important things to remember when you go to Walt Disney World with your friends, with your family, with your kids, no matter who it is to remember it's about the memories that you make together. The park itself is an amazing experience, so much magic to be had, but the real magic, and Walt Disney knew this, was the families coming together. So that's the most important thing to remember. When Dad and I were planning our Flower and Garden Festival father-son adventure, we were thinking about the rides we wanted to experience, the shows, the food, and especially those displays in the flower and gardens. But I knew right off the bat that the trip would be a little bit different than ones I've taken in the past, especially when it's just you and me. Now, it's true that my dad is older than I am. That is how the world works. The kids are younger than the parents. But it wasn't about the speed. As you may recall, the scooter moved extremely quickly, so Dad could buzz around the parks in no time at all, and I'd be huffing and puffing trying to keep up with him. What it was about was seeing the different things together, whether it was Pandora World of Avatar, or taking time to look at the flowers in the Flower and Garden Festival, just taking the time to experience it together. That leads to our first tip. Make sure you take the time to just relax and spend time together. It's those memories together that make the magic. That's a great avenue into our second trip. No matter who's going with you, whether it's your kids, your siblings, your parents, your grandparents, whoever it is, make sure you take the time to plan out what you want to see and do, things you do not want to miss. Even though the adventure will be slower paced than you're used to, you want to make sure you make time for rides you want to see, like Flight of Passage or Spaceship Earth or whatever you want to experience together. And don't forget to prioritize those things that your parents really want to see. To give you an example, my dad wanted to go to the Void VR experience. He heard about it and he said, "Michael, I want to do both experiences." And I've already done it, but I absolutely loved it. So I booked it for both of us twice because it was important to Dad, and those memories will last a lifetime. Dad's expression afterwards, just being so in shock and in awe and loving every moment, are things that I will hold on to forever. And I had a great time too. So that's just an example of things you want to consider. What does your parent want to do? Let's make that a priority. Next, we come to getting around Walt Disney World. And Walt Disney World is huge. It's massive. You're going to be walking miles and miles, and it's a good time to think about if you want some kind of mobility scooter, or maybe bring your own wheelchair, something else to help your parents. Maybe your parent doesn't need that, and that is totally fine too, but you want to think about those miles. As I mentioned previously, Dad can walk around, no problem at all, but walking 5 or 7 miles a day in the Florida heat, that just would have been uncomfortable for Dad. So it's not about whether or not you can walk or not, it's about your comfort on vacation. Another very important factor to remember is food and dining. Does your parent want to go to the different kiosks around the Food and Wine or Flower and Garden Festival? Do they want to go to the sit-down locations like California Grill, or do they want to just see Sunny Eclipse? It's something to talk about. Another factor to consider, don't forget those breaks in the middle of the day. Dad is a trooper and stayed with me through the entire day. I even said to him, "Dad, do you want to take a break? Maybe go back to the resort? I'll go back with you. We'll relax, no problem." He said, "No, I want to go and continue to experience it." And I thank the scooter for that, because Dad wasn't walking around tremendous distances. He could stay out for much longer. So again, scooter really helped Dad. Whether or not it helps you, that is totally up to you, but it's something you do want to consider. Next up, we come to transportation, and Disney can accommodate the scooters and the wheelchairs and all of their transportation systems, but you also want to think about how comfortable will those transportation systems be for your parent. Maybe they're uncomfortable on the boat if it's rocking back and forth, or maybe the monorail makes them feel a little bit dizzy. These kind of things you do want to think about as well. One of the biggest lessons learned for me and my dad from this past adventure is to really consider crowds just a bit more. You want to think in advance, where are the crowds going to be? Because it can be very uncomfortable to maneuver a scooter, or if you're a little bit slower walking through the parks with a lot of crowds around you. Maybe you want to wait until the end of the fireworks and just wait there for maybe 15-30 minutes for the crowds to clear out, or maybe you want to start making your way out before the fireworks begin. That's usually the time where you really got to start considering what you want to do, but those crowds really do play a role, especially if you have someone in your party who's maybe a little bit slower, or maybe in a wheelchair or scooter who's with you. It's just another factor. This past trip with Dad was really really an eye-opener for me because it reminded me of the importance of making memories with those who mean the most to you at the happiest place on earth. We have a tendency to go very quick around Walt Disney World, see as many rides as possible, all of the different kiosks, but being able to take it slow and experience Walt Disney World again with my dad will last forever in my mind. I will remember that adventure forever. I look forward to many more years of family Disney trips, not just with dad, but with mom as well, and my grandmother, uncle, brother, and sister. There are so many individuals in my family who I love sharing Disney with. Those are a few of my thoughts about bringing your parent with you to Walt Disney World. I highly recommend it. It will make memories that will last forever. Now, if you've ever brought your parent to Disney before, let us know your thoughts about it in the comments below. What did you prioritize? What kind of memories did you make together? And if you're just thinking about it now, don't be afraid to let us know your thoughts in the comments as well. Thank you so much for being a part of the magic with me. Until next time, have a magical day.